I'm Alex Ansary with a solar flare update for October 24th, 2013. Yesterday, an M9.3 solar flare erupted from the Sun, and according to Mitch Batros of EarthChangesMedia.com, 6 M-class solar flares erupted, all of them Earth-directed. This M9.3 solar flare was one of those flares, and that is the largest flare of this solar cycle 24. Now there's 2 sunspot regions where these flares are erupting from, 1877 and 1875. In addition to these 6 events, 8 coronal holes have developed which will produce a large discharge of charged particles along with the incoming solar flares. So you can break out your party drinks with a little umbrella. Incoming. He writes that he expects significant geomagnetic storms to occur beginning October 25th, tomorrow. Of course, he uses the word significant in this case, and will likely produce lower latitude auroras, perhaps dipping down below the 45th parallel. He also says there's a better than a 35% chance of an X-class flare occurring from sunspot region 1875, as well as the other region. Now, this is late 2013. NASA's latest projection for when we're going to peak out in the solar cycle is late 2013 and 2015. A double peak, like something that we've seen from solar cycle 14, about 100 years ago. So how this is going to play out is still something that we're monitoring. Is this the beginning of the peak of the solar cycle? We'll just have to wait and see. But going over now to spaceweather.com, they're reporting chance of storms. Earth's magnetic field is about to receive a glancing blow from 3 CMEs observed leaving the Sun between October 20th and the 22nd. Forecast models suggest that the 3 clouds merged en route to Earth, and their combined impact could trigger a mild polar geomagnetic storm on October 24th to the 25th. So they have a slightly different interpretation. This is why it's good to get information from different sources. And if there's a source that you're getting information from that you feel is accurate, aside from Mitch Batros and spaceweather.com, feel free to pass on that information in the comment section down below. And I'll leave you with this. When these solar flares come in, when we are affected by these changes in the Sun, we react to these changes in different ways. Sometimes in a perceivable, positive way. Ooh, new ideas, new information, more motivation, a drive. Something that seemed to be lacking before, all of a sudden you feel like you've got what you need to get what you need to get done. And we may also respond to these energies other ways. Violently, by fighting, by arguing, by trying to impose our will or our understanding or our belief system or just our energy upon other people. Human beings are affected very much by the changes in the Sun. We are directly impacted by the magnetic storms which are caused by the solar flares impacting our Earth's magnetic field. We respond different ways. The human body is a very, very complex biological organism. But there are patterns between peaks in these solar cycles and wars breaking out. And new things, breakthroughs, including what I find to be most interesting, migration patterns, people moving. With magnetics changing on the planet, and by the way, if this is news to you, you might want to look up magnetic north moving 40 miles a year towards Siberia. That doesn't mean that I'm predicting an instantaneous polar shift that will cause the end of the world. What I'm saying is there are scientific facts that are already confirmed facts, that are already recognized as new scientific understandings of changes taking place not only in our solar system or in our universe, but on the Earth itself, within the Earth itself, or the Earth's grid, in this case magnetic north. So there's a lot of very interesting things changing. Obviously this is not just about 2012. Do not keep your focus or allow your focus to stay stuck on being afraid of the grid going down. We are physically, biologically, consciously affected by the changes in the Sun. We can make these changes positive changes. We can work to make those moments where we have a solar flare and we can put our minds together and we can visualize. When we can put our energy out, I invite you to tonight to visualize the mechanisms of this archonic system however you choose to see it. The dark aspects of the system. Breaking down, falling down, those that wish to mislead and deceive being unsuccessful. And those that want freedom and want to see a world of beauty, we need to see ourselves being successful in that goal, because it all begins in the mind. So I think there is a connection between periods of time where we have these not only full moons, but solar flares, and our ability to manifest something, to create something, because of the additional energy that is there in the ether. We should do something positive with it. We should do something positive with the excess energy that we have. In general, in life. But things like Tai Chi, things like meditation, things like exercise, or just walking down the street, it's better than conflict. It's much better than conflict. In the future, I'm going to be writing more about the changes in the sun and how it affects human consciousness. I've already compiled a lot of information on this computer that hasn't been yet published on my website, alexansory.tv. Throughout the winter, I'm going to be doing more of that. That's why I'm asking people to sign up to my newsletter over at alexansory.tv so I can reach you with new information, new articles. I'm going to be releasing at some point this winter a 90-plus page PDF on various pieces of information that I've collected on the solar impact on human consciousness, as well as the pineal gland that's impacted, which of course has a concentration of magnetite crystals, microscopic magnetite crystals, which weren't even discovered in the human brain until 1992, but they were discovered in pigeons, birds, other forms of life in the 1960s. It's how those migratory animals are able to travel around the planet to get to where they need to be through the grid. When that changes, their flight patterns change. And of course, there's a lot of people asking, is there a connection between the deaths that we've seen, of all the fish popping up dead that are in cold waters, in areas where they're not supposed to be, and birds migrating to areas where they're not supposed to be, where the temperature is not calibrated specifically for them to habitat in, for them to live in. So there's lots of examples of things changing on our planet and the effect that it has on different forms of animal life. The question is, what change is it having on human consciousness, and how can you make it a positive thing by arming yourself with the background information as to how all of this is connected. And in the end, let me close here. For a lot of people, what this all really is just confirmation that we are all one. How things are impacting other things that seem far away from each other, yet are so interconnected. And there's so many examples of this, and we're becoming aware of so many more of these examples of this interconnected reality. It does come down to this truth in so many different ways.